Hey guys, Pack in here. What I have with me today is a hilt that I'm helping a customer or trader fix. His name is Benjamin Cupper, and he uses a ASP Viridian soundboard. And this is the board. It came out, I believe this is maybe last year's or 2 years ago. They use these kind of soundboards, the Viridian soundboards with the blue heat shrink without the chassis. Keep in mind that when it came in, all the wires are bunched up like this. So it's recommended that you need a heat gun to try to unwrap it, so that it's easier that once you hook it in. This is the hilt. And it needs to be cleaned inside out. And this uses a 12-watt photon red, red, and this one shoots up right out lightsaber. All right, so it will look like this. When it came to me, everything was bunched up. Like everything was crammed full with all the wires are pushing out that way. For Benjamin, what I'm going to be doing, like I said, I'm going to be unraveling this to make this a lot more freer, so the board can move outwards. In case if you ever thought about putting a chassis up, you can put a chassis in there. But for now, let's test it out to make sure it works. So what I do is that I want to make sure this is my kill key from Saberforge. So what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to take this, I'll put it in, make sure the kill key is attached so that no power comes through it. Alright, like that. And this one is the switch. I use either my lighted switch, or his original switch. Either way, it's wired differently. The two wires are snipped so that it doesn't do lighted up LED, as the customer doesn't have one that's with the LED. This is mine with the white LED. So I use it as a test subject. But it works both ways. Wrong way. So they can always switch it. In case if you ever want to get a lighted AV switch, you can have the option to make your own AV switch to plug in with this board. You just have to make sure you have the color coded correctly, as it might be across the lines. It'd be black here, green, yellow, red across the 4 segments for the lighted AV switch. Alright, so the switch is here, photon red here. You would take out the kill key, make sure everything's fully charged, and keep in mind there's going to be missed swings because the customer has a vibration motor with the board. It is not recommended that anytime you get one of these economy boards like the Viridian or the Crimson soundboards to have a motor with it, because the motor that goes with the board creates a lot of sensitive issues in terms of missed swings. So it's going to swing automatically because the motor is hitting, it's vibrating on the board, as well as the sound from the speaker is vibrating the board as well. So it will cause a lot of missed swings.
Sabercore Viridian.
There you go. This is set to number 3. There's a nice little flickering effect. I changed the, when I was doing the settings, I changed the motion sensitivity to 7 because I don't want to have more sensitive. If it's more sensitive, it's going to pick up from the vibration motor as well as the board. So it's better to make sure you put higher the motion so that you wouldn't have this miss swing. And now it's much better. There you go. And the sensitivity on the swinging sensor, the swinging is about 5. So I put it level 5. This shimmer is number 3. I would prefer either 5 or 3. Oh, no, actually number 1 or 3. 1 to 3. 1 being the solid color, 3 as in like you have a little flickering effect. Alright. Alright, so basically I'm helping Ben here fix up his issue. He said there was an LED issue which that's not able to have it turn on for his Saber. He brought it in for me to diagnose it and check it out for him. And I'm doing this for free so that he is able to make use of it, and this is pretty much simple because this, you have to make sure you have the battery charged. His battery wasn't really charged all the way through. When I receive it, it doesn't come with a kill key. This is my own kill key. I will not provide it with it. He has to use his own kill key, but it's recommended that anytime you put your Saber away, you have to always have a kill key because it doesn't have a deep sleep mode. The power will continue to drain and drain until you're unable to use it anymore. So before I begin heat gunning this to make this straight, I want to make sure I clean the insides first over here so it doesn't cause a lot of greasiness on the inside. And I'll be using one of these electronic wipes. Alright. There you go. These things contain alcohol in them so that you don't have to worry about drying. It will dry pretty fast by the time it's done. Well, there's a lot of metal being caught inside the hilt. I told Ben to be careful when it comes to putting a Saber together. You have to make sure you have to have good clearance in the wires so that the wires don't obstruct the board, because the vibrations between the wires and the board is going to cause breakage to the chips. So you have to be considerate, because if you continue to put a lot of pressure on the wires, something's going to get snapped. And, that's a rule of thumb when it comes to working on something like this. So I'm using a tweezer, so it's easier to catch the crevice. And look, there's more metal. Alright. So for the customer, he's gonna provide me a prepaid return shipping label to ship it back. So I do this on the kindness of my own heart to put time into making sure his Saber comes out nice before coming back to him. This is how I do it with every laptop. Every laptop, I make sure everything gets cleaned up. Lightsabers the same way. You want to make sure everything is cleaned up on the inside. Even though the outside is a little bit grimy, you want to make sure the inside has no metal filings on the interior. There you go. You want to put a little time cleaning this hilt. There you go. Alright. Looks like it's drying. Alright. It's the pommel cap. And this is the LED holder, I believe. And that's the blade retention. So you want to make sure you have one of these hex keys. So Ben, if you're watching this, I hope you enjoy that I'm putting a lot of time and care making sure your saber comes out to you better than you expected, because you said you have some kind of sound issues, brightness issues, LED issues. It's just the wiring that's jammed in there. It's not good for the board. Alright, so you want to make sure before you put everything back in, you want to make sure you want to make sure you put a kill key in, because you don't want the power to keep running when you're doing stuff. Otherwise, you might short something from the board. That's a big rule of thumb. Okay. Switch. Oh, this is mine. This is my white LED switch to make sure to test it to see if it works or not. Right. Okay. Alright, so now there's no power coming in. And the LED is here. So you gotta plan where the LED is gonna go. It's gonna go somewhere up here. So the LED is gonna be pushed downwards. So you're gonna have to twist it up, twist the wire up, so you have a nice clearance when you try to pull the chassis out. Someday I hope you have a chassis in there, so you take out the blue one, the blue heat shrink tube, and maybe you can replace the battery in the future in case you have to do that. All right, so good too. You don't want to break the wires, so you want to make sure it follows through the orientation. Okay, so what I'm seeing is that this is fine. This alone can twist up here, and twist along with this too. There's the switch. There you go, the switch holes. So it's going to twist it around these two areas. Just remember that the 4-pin is the AV switch. So the 4-pin goes up here, and while down here you want to make sure you have a 3-pin for the 2.1 millimeter recharge port. There you go, 3 and 4. And you might want to, maybe you can like that, so you can come out like that. When it comes to building computers, wire management is important. So it's no different when it comes to a lightsaber prop. You want to have good cable management. Alright, so that's a 3, and that's a 4. So 3 is the recharge port. Recharge port is going to hit in the bottom, and that's not going to go anywhere once I install it, so it's going to be like that. This is good right here. You want to make sure you can free it up. A little twist like that. Now this one needs to be heat gunned. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. There you go. You want to make sure this whole piece is twisted, so that once you install it back in, you can wrap it around like that and just pull it out without having to worry about ruining the wire, because the wire is actually much stronger once you twist it up between the LED. This is fine because I don't think you need to worry about this part. Your full wires, they're very strong as it is. So let me see. Do I have one of these? Yeah. Just want to be sure this is clean in the back. You want to be careful with this, Ben. Seems to be that you really bash your saber. Alright, this is already dried. So you want to make sure the first one gets threaded in, second one gets threaded in. Full wire, ready for the 3 wire. So the 3 wire is the recharge port. Alright. You don't want to thread this in. You want to leave it out. Right. And this one has the nut. This one comes with the nut, and what we'll be doing is I'm going to secure this thing from moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put it inside first. So I'm going to move this here, take an O-ring, move that there, so everything gets screwed in underneath. And this one is a switch, which I'll put later. This is now. Okay. Take your time with it. Where's my switch? There you go. There's my switch. And take the nut in, so that I can thread it. We're not gluing here. We are not going to glue this. I want Ben to have an option if he ever chooses to switch out for an AV switch or replace something if he needs to. It's good to have options. There's gotta be a better, easier way to do this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clip it in one at a time. Take the whole thing out. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish installing the rest. Alright. I see a frayed wire. Yeah, the red one is no good. Saberforge really needs to work on their wires. It's not properly crimped. Alright, so I'm going to have to solder that back in. Alright. So right now I'm going to replace the one part of the recharge port, as the red wire seems to be very loose and it came apart. So I'm going to take this out, this pin out. Okay, so basically what I did is that I got one of these little wires that I have, which is something similar like this, and what I did is I cut it and I solder it over here, and I put the applied heat shrinks. Now it should be really solid. I can't find a small thing. It's a waste of time having to put the small thing back into its place. Well, so I'll just use what I have and just make it work. So far, shouldn't have any problems. Now this one over here is going to be LED module. I'm just going to wrap that around. There's a lot of tension over here, so it'll take a while for me to figure it out. So I'm going to try to take this apart, put this in, make this loose. It should be fine. So we're almost there. Okay, so as I was struggling trying to put the connector in for the 2.1mm recharge port, you can tell how long it took me to having to put a small little piece from this metal JST connector. It's a really small micro JST connector, and it was loose from one of the wires. So what I did is that I found a spare JST, which is about the same size for the inside socket. What I do is that I I took a scalpel, and what I do is I wedge it through the inside over here. So I wedge it to lift up the plastic, the little plastic tab, and lift out the metal piece that I need to hang it with. And in doing so, I was able to take out the red wire. So as you can tell, the red wire is taken out. I took out the little piece that has the metal piece on it, and I solder that part on the inside. So that way you have a new, stronger connection with the recharge port, and now it's now you can get the charge, because before you had trouble charging this saber, and now I found out that the reason why you can't really charge it right is because this thing snapped off from the connection. So okay, Benjamin Kupler, your free commission is complete. I was able to fix up the issue, and now it is done. I think it took me about a whole good half an hour to an hour trying to put the LED over here. And the hardest part was that all the wires are actually bunched up over here, which makes it a lot more difficult for me to, without the wires being free, it's actually more difficult where there's resistors over here and you want to put like a small amount of room for the resistor to go here, and it's very difficult to do that. Since you don't have the nut for this, I wish you best of luck having to take this apart. But remember, when you take this apart, make sure you take the LED out first. So take out the screw for the LED, unscrew that out, and you should have a little wire there, and just put the nut in and you'll be fine. But here you go.
Sabercore Viridian.
Sabercore Viridian. I've tweaked up the settings. I use 1 for the intensity level. I use number 6 for the motion sensor, and number 7 for the impact sensitivity. And that way you don't have any kind of issue in terms of vibration. But here you go. Let's turn this on. I use the Ultra Saber's blade. See what happens. The problem of the miss swings is due to the vibration motor that's hitting the board. The vibration motor goes to the board, as well as the speaker that's also vibrating the board, which causes a lot of miss swings. So whenever you get this board, I recommend do not get a vibration, because the speaker is vibrating. It's your vibration. So let's calibrate this.
Main menu. Select optical frequency 1. Select sound intensity low. High.
Anyways, your free repair is complete, Benjamin. I hope you enjoy it. I will.
Sabercore Viridian.
Here you go. Let's put the blade in. I'm using Ultra Sabers. Here you go. Okay. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching.